Car sales have been slowing down in the past few months. That may be due to motorists hanging on to their vehicles. According to findings of the Automobile Association's latest research, 90% of South Africans who own cars are keeping them for a longer period, between 5 and 10 years, due to the country's struggling economy. But then, can motorists maintain the upkeep of older cars? And then what about the cost? Well, joining me now from our Pretoria studios is Layton Beard from the AA to tell us more about their research. Layton, very good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. Just to give the right kind of context, facts, and background to this research, when did you do this research?
The research was conducted in June and July, Dan, and we polled not only AA members, but we polled non-members as well. We had a sample size of about 1,000 people, and I think that gives us a good idea of some of the trends, especially in terms of vehicle ownership in South Africa.
I guess being AA, you wanted to test whether or not the vehicles that your members are owning are roadworthy.
Well, not only that, I think we're hearing a lot from members specifically that they keep in their vehicles for longer. And I think a lot of people are picking up on the fact that obviously there are some dips in trends in new car sales. And a lot more people are hanging onto their vehicles for longer. So we certainly wanted to find out whether there was any basis for that anecdotal kind of messaging and whether people were in fact hanging on to their vehicles. And the research was quite interesting in that we discovered that people are hanging on to their vehicles for longer, and not only for the 5 years that most people do hang on to their cars before replacing them, but the primary vehicle in many households is something that people have been holding on to for more than 5 years, closer to 10 years. And that certainly is a very interesting finding for us.
Now, that means if you're going to hang on to a vehicle to up to 10 years, you need to make sure that you are able to maintain it.
Sure. So I think the two main reasons why people are hanging on to their vehicles, the first is that new vehicles are being made very well, and so their lifespan is a lot longer, so they are more reliable over a longer period of time. But the bigger reason, obviously, and you mentioned this in your intro, is that people don't want to spend more money on new vehicles. But it does mean that if you have a vehicle that is an older model, you have to make sure that that older model is still roadworthy and capable of being on the roads, and you have to look after it. And that means you have to service the vehicle, you have to give that vehicle maintenance, and those are some of the big issues that we find people are not doing.
What about insurance?
Our survey found that around 60% of the people we polled do have insurance, but the national average is around 35%, 30 to 35%, which means that up to 70% of people in South Africa do not have insurance, and that's a very worrying figure. So if you are involved in a crash and there's two people that don't have insurance, it means that they're going to have to pay for those repairs out of pocket. So insurance is really critical. And it's very concerning for us that people are not taking insurance on their vehicles, especially once they've paid those vehicles off, or when those vehicles no longer require to be insured because they've paid the people who are financing it. So from our point of view, we would certainly like to see a lot more people insuring their vehicles. We would like to see a lot more people putting money away for maintenance and servicing. And we call it a car medical aid. And that's really what it is. It's a savings plan for servicing. And unfortunately, people are not doing that, Dan. And then they find that they need to service their vehicle or that they need to repair something on their vehicle, and then it has to come out of pocket. And it sometimes is a huge expense. And we would certainly advise people, keep your car, as a responsible car owner, keep your car in a good condition and put money away every month so that you can service and maintain that vehicle. And obviously, insure that vehicle.
Or you could buy a maintenance plan, or what the motor dealers will call a service plan, or something like that. Those are pretty much available in the market, and over time, they can become affordable.
They certainly are affordable, and they certainly are available. And there are a lot of products on the market where you don't need to go to a dealer. You can buy a product from a number of places. The AA warranties, for instance, is a very good example. You can get a product from the AA, you can get an AA warranties product, and that can act as a service and maintenance plan for your vehicle. So it does give you that peace of mind. It does make sure that if something happens to your vehicle, the costs are covered, and it's a very important policy to have. Again, you have to keep yourself insured to a certain, and I'm not talking about insurance, but you have to keep yourself insured and your vehicle insured for anything that can happen with it. And having a product like something that the AA Warranties offers is certainly a very good idea, and we would obviously want more people to look into getting a product such as that.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you think, oh, I'm going to rely from my out-of-pocket expenses one day, it might not be enough, because fixing a vehicle might be very costly. Thank you very much. Layton Beard from the Automobile Association. Now,